I think it feels very normal to struggle. I think opening up about anything that can be perceived as a weakness is difficult, particularly for men, I find in my experience, and I think we're all aware that it's a major challenge for men to open up, as it is for women too. And it's become too normal that stigma that exists around suicide is a very powerful thing that has created its own normality and left people hiding behind closed doors with these problems that they need to be sharing and opening up about. I've experienced so many amazing stories since I've been opening up myself about my own mental health challenges and about the loss of my husband to suicide. One in particular has really stuck with me. I have people that follow my story, and I was contacted privately by a very lovely lady who told me that she'd been having a conversation with her husband, telling him about my story. And she felt the need to say to him, "Have you ever considered taking your own life?" And his immediate response was, "No, not at all. I wouldn't dream of it." I guess that's the normal answer, that's the standard response. She was surprised when later that day they were eating dinner and her husband suddenly said, "You know, the first time I thought about taking my own life was before we met. I'd come out of a difficult relationship, I felt lost, and I'd planned how I was going to do it." And she was stunned. He then went on to talk about some more recent tragedies that they'd experienced together as a couple, where he'd had suicidal thoughts again. And had she not asked him if he'd had these thoughts, he wouldn't have felt that he'd been given that permission to open up. And he'd have continued with this kind of normality that we don't talk about it, whether that's in our own private circles or whether that's at work or whether that's with friends and family. So it's absolutely normal, but it really shouldn't be.